Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird. The bird's a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a word. Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird.
Wait a minute. This guy is claiming that he knows what the word is? Having his own opinion that isn't one of the CIA or the globalists is called a conspiracy theory. You're not supposed to have any original decisions of your own or any views about the bird. And I guess that I'm going to parrot a conspiracy theory if I go mow 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 mow. Bring it up. Of course, they won't call him a conspiracy theorist for saying the bird's the word, because that doesn't really affect the establishment. But if I show all the admitted documents and foreign news articles and admissions of our government in Saudi Arabia and others funding ISIS, or Benjamin Netanyahu endorsing ISIS in the Jerusalem Post, they'll just have Keith Olbermann or maybe Geraldo Rivera call me a conspiracy theorist. Oh, please don't do that. By the way, I'm not responding to them because it's hurting me. I'm showing how discredited you are, telling us that you control reality. Mow, 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 mow. Put that guy on some Prozac. He sounds like he's having too much fun. All right, let's go ahead and go to Michael. The balance of this segment, I'm going to everybody after the break. Michael, thanks for holding. You're a trooper. You're on the air worldwide. Welcome to the airwaves.
Hey, thanks, Alex. You were always talking about who's going to benefit from the profit of the Ebola vaccine.
Yes, sir.
And a friend of mine told me about TKMR stock, which is pretty well talked about on the internet today. And
so you're about to give me an analysis that's outside of mainstream media. You're about to form an opinion off of verifiable facts. That's called hate. That's called racism. That's called sexism. That's called homophobia.
Yeah, I did research. It's horrible. Well, TKMR stocks is for the company Texmira, and that stock is up to $24.31 today from $7 back in January. Well, they are supposedly the ones that are going to have the Ebola vaccine. And I started doing research on who owns this company, and it's Mark J. Murray. He's the CEO who used to work for another company called Protiva. And they've done studies about cancer that has supposedly cured cancer cells in animals without hurting the good cells. Well, then I started keep looking through all the small print, going back years and years ago on the stuff I was finding. And some of their investors and contractors, well, one of the investors is the Department of Defense. And one of the other people that's involved with them is J.P. Morgan.
Ah, J.P. Morgan. Well, again, I don't know enough about the company to pass judgment on them. But obviously it's good that you're digging in. It's good that you're looking into things and committing a thought crime. But J.P. Morgan is generally involved in anything evil. They fund gun control. They fund open borders. They fund the UN garbage. Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan are the top of the pyramid. They are the problem. You can debate individuals that own stock in it or whatever, in private or public stock, but at the end of the day, they're the problem. And we know there's going to be profiteering off of anything. What's your final breakdown on this?
It really, it's like you've been talking about who's going to profit from all the hype from all this, and it's going to fearmonger people into wanting to get the vaccines and so forth. And I know you talked with the veterinarian earlier about animals. I don't even get my dogs vaccinated because I know how bad it is. I haven't had a flu shot. I don't even know when.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there in the years I worked for vets. Let me not exaggerate. At least more than 10 times where they'd give a dog a shot and it'd start having convulsions. And again, anybody with a brain can figure out, boy, these shots must not be too good. And then your dog's never sick. It gets a shot, and then it's sick for the rest of its life. With ambient corruption. Slowly reprogramming the human genetic code. Slowly putting their Trojan horses into anything and everything. Until civilization as we know it has been overtaken. And that's stated in all their official documents. I've made films on the subject like Endgame. Blueprint for Global Enslavement if you feel like knowing the truth. It's free online. Or you can buy the DVD and support us and have a hard copy. We can take control of our development if we decide to take control. They tell us that's a conspiracy theory, that no one's engineering, there's no social engineering, there's no control, everything's just magically happening on its own. There's no invisible hand directing human development right now. But then you read all their white papers, they're totally directing everything. Towards a very bad end for most people. And sure, you can see a bunch of people with their pants hanging down around their ankles, looting shops, and say, well, you know, humanity's lazy and stupid and criminal, so wipe us out. Until you realize the globalists have been pushing agendas that have literally made those communities like that, when those communities just 60, 70 years ago were not like that. They have literally turned young black males, and then now young white males, Hispanic males, into morons. 60, 70 years ago in Mexico, there were not people worshiping death, tattooing skulls on their faces, and worshiping who would murder the most innocent people. 30 years ago, people were not wearing their pants hanging down around their knees, which means I'm a punk, have sex with me in the prison, and running around looting shops at the first, chance they could. This is the sick MTV mind control culture. So I don't look at these pathetic people and then go, oh, look, they're a bunch of scum, let's kill them. I understand the globalists are now doing this to every community. And if they haven't gotten to your family yet, they will. Now, under political correctness, though, we're not supposed to decry this culture so it can keep growing like a cancer. So see, out of one side of their mouth, don't decry it, this is a great culture. And they show people acting like thugs, dressed like idiots, getting all the women, and people watch that on TV and believe that that's the culture we should adopt, and people are adopting it and wondering why they're so incredibly unhappy. Instead, I'd go to your phone calls. Let's just go to them. I'm speaking of the riots, of course, that have been taking place in Ferguson, Missouri. And now it's a whole new Trayvon Martin deal with the Justice Department front lawyer running down there to stir the pot again. The Justice Department was caught last time behind the whole thing because black folks aren't getting anything from Obama, so he'll give them racial hatred. That's basically the only possession. Mike in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How's it going?
It's going all right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Right on. Hey, I'm super excited about that last segment with Chuck Baldwin. And having been one that attends churches and his description of things being like a Christian happy hour, the Church Liberty Project seems like a critical thing because we're losing a lot of foundation here with the way that this new program has moved into a lot of the churches, and I hope also, too, that there's a possibility of some visual presentation for the church, Liberty Church, we'd say curriculum to be presented perhaps to in like a DVD form, because this is a message that really needs to go out.
He's actually doing that right now. Great points. Appreciate you holding. Listening on 1340 AM, KOMY. Let's go ahead and talk to Ben in Missouri. Thanks for holding. You're on the air. Listening on the free InfoWars iPhone app. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. It's good to speak to you again. Just wanted to say thanks real quick. I'm here in St. Louis, and, I've been able to see this whole incident in Ferguson pan out kind of firsthand. But the reason why I was calling is because I knew as soon as this happened that it was going to turn, and the media is turning it from police, militarization of the police, evisceration of the Bill of Rights, evisceration of due process, and they're turning it into a race issue. And that I just can't stand it because it's not a race issue. It is not a race issue. It is a police-citizen issue. And the media knows that if they use that divide.
Sure. I mean, here's the deal. We don't really know yet what happened with this black teen shot by police. And then a vigil was held to turn it into a big riot. And, you know, criminals running around with their pants hanging down around their butts, robbing private citizens' homes and burning buildings down, again, diverts away from if the police did something wrong. And if the police did something wrong, it should be an issue. But you're right. This is really about people acting like morons when the cops do something wrong, and then that being used as a pretext to bring in even more militarization of police, which is the exact opposite of what we need. Does that make sense?
Correct.
But I mean, you're there. You say I mean, you say you basically watched it unfold. Are you in Ferguson?
No. I actually live in the city of St. Louis in South City.
Because, I mean, I mean, what happens is you've got a bunch of people that have gotten into thug life, thug culture, who then think they're entitled to hate everybody who isn't a thug, and in many cases to be anti-white and racist, who then basically run around doing whatever they want, and it's okay because they're downtrodden, including preying on their, quote, own people in these predominantly black neighborhoods. So I don't want to endorse what they're doing. I also don't want to endorse, in many